genocide in Gaza as it continues its offensive against Hamas. More than 26,000 civilians have died in Gaza, but the court did not order a ceasefire. CBS's Deborah Patta in Tel Aviv.
The ruling amounted to an overwhelming rebuke of Israel's wartime conduct, and although the court has no means to enforce it, it has added to mounting international pressure to halt the nearly 4-month-old offensive.
Millions are dealing with heavy rains and possible flooding over this weekend. Kelly Cass is at the Weather Channel.
Still some heavy rain hanging back across the Tennessee Valley, and this all pushes through the Carolinas as we head from Saturday into our Sunday. It is still pouring in places like the Queen City of Charlotte, down towards Charleston, where we saw record highs yesterday in the low 80s.
There's some great tennis in Australia.
Arena Sabalenka fought hard to the end. Sabalenka emotional after the win.
No, it's not going to be crying. Okay.
Taking home back-to-back Australian Open titles, winning 6-3, 6-2 over China's Qin Wenjun.
Amazing memory for me. I'm sure there's going to be more and better in the future.
Scott Mayman for CBS News, Canberra, Australia.
Part of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge in Maryland is still closed after a crash involving about 20 cars sent at least 10 people to the hospital this morning. 2 had life-threatening injuries. They have to check the bridge's structural integrity. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
The world is marking Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Out with the old and in with the new at Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. New 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab 5.3 LT 4x4 SLT. Take up to $8,500 off MSRP. Plus, trade in a qualified vehicle and receive an additional $2,500 from GM. Drive to the best, just 15 minutes west. Dorsey Jones Buick GMC, I-40 and Highway 81, exit 125 in El Reno, or dorsey-jonesbuickgmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade. See dealer for details.
Take excitement to a whole other level at Cimarron Casino. Get exciting gaming action on over 500 slots at Central Oklahoma's premier gaming spot. Visit CimarronCasino.com for details. Cimarron Casino in Perkins. It's a whole new game. Owned and operated by the Iowa Tribe of Oklahoma.
Some fun.
Lighten up, Francis.
This is the Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show.
The Markley, Van Camp, and the computer take over?
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Hey.
All right. Well, even without the music, are we actually?
Are we on the air?
Live on the air?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Oh.
Okay. Well, so here we go.
What would this be without some technical difficulties, Rick?
From the top, broadcasting live from the palatial studios of KOKC in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Talks Insurance.
What?
I'm Rick Allen Lippert here with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum.
Hey, Rick. Good morning.
Also here,
Afternoon.
relaxing in the overstuffed recliner is the next generation, HAAG-certified roof inspector Scotty McCollum.
Hey, Rick. Good morning. Well, good afternoon.
Multi-talented and bum-fuzzled Eric Yandel is the wizard behind the other side of the glass.
Say what?
Yeah.
He will answer your phone call to 405-478-1520.
Hey, before further ado, let me try this. There we go.
He's showing off now.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
He played that because we started on this station, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And here we are back. I do need to tell everyone that we are live streaming the show on the McRoof Talks Insurance YouTube channel, and it's telling me that we're a little choppy. Go figure.
Yeah.
So guys, wave to the folks at home.
Hey.
You'll be amazed at the opulence of the palatial Talk Suite studio here at Tyler Broadcasting. Act 1 of the show today will start with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits, including the word of the week. While we wait for your call, that number again, 405-478-1520. In Act 2 of the show, we'll have more of your calls, and we'll hear from Scotty with his view from the rooftop. Then in Act 3, we'll have our After the Storm tip brought to you by Roof RX, and wrap up with some very wise words from Scott's dad brought to you by Energy Q. And coming back from breaks, we'll have some really obscure historical trivia. Now, the lawyer says I must tell you that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing.
Yes. What are we doing?
I thought you were going to play something else.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. It's been like 10 years since I've seen you.
He had another little welcome back thing.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And think to yourself, there's no place like home.
There's no place like home. And here we are. Okay, so, Scott, you want to handle the trivia question?
Yeah, we'll start out, and this should be pretty easy for a lot of folks. So what should be the very first call that you make after you've had a hailstorm or suspect that you have storm damage on your home or residential property?
And the first person to call 405-478-1520 with that correct answer wins 2 free tickets to Carpenter Square Theater. Good for the rest of this season. You pick the show, and I'll email the coupon to you.
Okay, you're going to tell us what your lineup for the year is.
I can, but let's get into the show first, and because we have a new show with a new focus and a new face.
We do have
in the room here in the palatial studios. So Scotty McCollum, what's your story, young man?
Oh boy, I thought I had a few more minutes.
No, we're jumping right in.
Not your story for the view from the rooftop. He's just asking you about you, so people get to know you a little bit.
Who are you? Who's your daddy?
Well, I've been
oh my!
Didn't think I'd hear that today. Well, I've been a lot of places in my few short years on this earth, and after I graduated college in 2015, I took a job actually for many different reasons. I thought it was best to stay in Dallas, where I was originally from, and wanted to be closer to friends, some family that I had down there, have a little bit more time with guess, just pursuing things that I had developed roots and connections with down in the DFW area.
Right.
I took a job in actually insurance, annuities, life insurance, completely different side of what we deal with now with McRoof, but that didn't last long. I asked my dad a few short months later, hey, is there a spot for me, because I really need to pay this apartment rent, and I'm running out of funds. He said, of course, son. So I actually, for about 3 years, I commuted back and forth between OKC and Dallas.
Okay.
Still keeping a place down there, but focusing my efforts mostly here for McRoof, developing a little bit of expertise when it comes to sales, management within McRoof, and also immersing myself more deeply in the storm restoration side of what we do.
So I introduced you as having HAAG certification as a roof inspector. What does that entail?
Well, HAAG is really an industry leader in terms of education for either adjusters, roofing contractors, and other professionals that need that deeper knowledge base when it comes to the commercial side of either roofing or storm restoration.
And you now have that certification, so you know what you're talking about.
I do. Well, I think I'm coming up for renewal soon as well. So so I will need to.
So he's had it for a few years. So one of the things that we talk about is, a qualified roof inspection, Rick, and when we have these folks who are making that phone call to get someone out to take a look, you really want to get a qualified roof inspection. And that's what I mean when I've always used that term in the past in the other program, is get somebody up there that has some credentials behind their name, get somebody up there that has some technical competency, has some education and some actual experience. In order to become a HAAG-certified residential commercial wind inspector, you have to certify, or the company that employs you has to certify that you have been on, I don't remember if it's hundreds of roof inspections or thousands of roof inspections.
A couple hundred, I believe.
Is that what it is?
For commercial, it's 50 or 100.
Okay. So anyway, you have to show that you've been there, done that, and that you have some basic knowledge before they'll even let you sit down and start teaching you layers on top of that.
Yeah.
So it's and then it's a 3-hour test. Most people take 3 hours. Some of us don't take quite that long, but most people take 3 hours. It's a very lengthy test, and then you have to recertify every couple of years. So, yeah, good thing. Yep.
And I spoke earlier, I just spoke on the commercial side of things, but HAAG, like my dad said, does have their own residential wing as well as wind-specific, wind event, wind damage-specific type inspection training.
So it's a lot more than just getting up on a roof and telling somebody they need to call their insurance company, which is what about 99% of the people who would get on your roof would tell you to do.
Right.
And Scotty will, over the course of this program and in talking about how he goes about inspections, he'll wow you with the depth and the degree to which we go to in terms of doing that inspection. We're not there to sell you anything. We're there to give you information. And so Scotty is really, he is my best inspector. When he writes an inspection report and gives folks recommendations about you don't need anything done on your roof, you need minor repairs on your roof, you need extensive repairs on your roof, or you need to replace your roof, whether that's what we call retail, out of pocket, or you need to call and file an insurance claim if it's an insurance situation. When Scotty tells people that and gives them the scenario, they can count that he's telling them the truth in terms of what the damage and the situation on their roof is. So,
okay. Well, since we are a live call-in show, we have a caller on the line. That number 405-478-1520. And let's go to Benny. Hello, Benny.
Good
You're
day,
on the air.
Gentlemen. Hi. Welcome back.
I think I know that name.
Who is this?
I really missed you while you've been away.
Hello, Ben.
I truly have. Scott Jr. knows that I owe him a call. I still haven't got the information located yet about whether I have codes and and all that stuff, coverage on my homeowner's policy. And I know I'm going to run out of time to file a claim if I don't get it done soon.
You know what?
But,
Ben could come over here. Scotty's done such a good job of educating Ben, and he's educated himself about this whole thing. He could come take my place because a lot of what we're going to be talking about over the next lot of what we're going to talk about over the next couple of weeks, for sure, in the next couple of months, is reminding people that our primary storm date in the metro for last year was 4/19.
Ooh.
Okay. So there's a clock that is ticking. There's a clock that is ticking on people's insurance policies called their duty to notify.
Ooh,
and that notification has to be timely. It's defined in your policy, depending on who your insurance carrier is, generally 1 year. So most people are up against a 4/19/2024, where you then lose the right to file a claim under that loss date, and it becomes very problematic for us to manage your claim through the process.
Benny, when did you have your last loss?
Well, the 419 event, and Scotty came out and the roof on me. My problem is my original homeowner's policy. My late wife, I don't mean to speak ill of her, but she developed a psychosis as her disease advanced, and she hid some things, and one of them was the original policy. I have the riders for the last several years on the renewals, but I don't have the original, and I may just have to call them and pay the fee to get a new original sent to me. And that's my hang-up, because I don't know what all was in the original.
Well, that sounds like an easy fix if you just, open up your wallet.
Well, we know.
What I'm trying to determine is how deep into my wallet I'm going to have to go, because I know I will have out of pocket.
Right.
But the change, like for instance, my house was built in '59, as you guys know, and I have the 1x8 decking, and now it requires solid decking.
Right.
Those kind of changes that have happened over time.
Right.
But to answer your trivia question, I hope and think that I have it wired correctly, is don't call your insurance company first thing, but call your favorite roofing company who has a qualified inspector, and in my case, it will always be McRoof for so long as I and you exist.
I didn't plant this call.
That's a good answer, Ben.
I did not plant this call, so.
No, you did not. I've been hearing the commercial ads on the radio for the last week, 10 days, just by happenstance, because I only have the radio on in the car, when I'm out and about. And I do listen to some stuff late in the afternoon at home,
right,
before dinner time and such. So I'm glad you started letting your market know that you were going to be back. And I take it this is your first broadcast?
This is it.
Yeah, this is it.
Hey, Benny, we're going to have to take a break, but I'm going to let Eric get your name, and I hope you have an email address by now, because
I don't have it.
Well, then
we'll hand deliver your voucher to him. Scotty will be going to see him.
Well, okay, we'll make sure.
I've got a mailing address that you can mail it.
Well, I'm trying to save that whatever $1.25 stamp it is now, whatever.
If you didn't play in a good supply forever stamp, shame on you.
Yeah, well, I needed to.
Yeah,
all right, so
thanks
it's time
for calling,
for us to take our break.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Benny, for calling. Hey, folks, you're listening to the very first inaugural broadcast of McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC AM 1520, FM 95.3. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum, HAAG-certified roof inspector Scotty McCollum. We'll be right back.
Hey, folks, I want to talk to you a little bit about Roof RX. This is our company, McRoof's company, that is focused on inspecting your commercial or residential roof. We do all kinds of inspections. Scotty or someone else will get up there on that roof and give it a once-over, make sure that we've got all the details for you. We have the ability to do drone photography, infrared. We inspect metal roofs, flat roofs, wood shake roofs, and every kind of residential roof that you can think about. We look for things that need to be done on your roof in terms of repairs. We can execute any type of repair that you need.
Hi, this is Nicolas Cage. When you're a teenager, there are a lot of things going.
Keep going? Okay, well, I'll keep going. Somebody was stepping on me there. So we install ventilation, radiant barriers, solar fans. Basically, we want to inspect, repair, take care of your roof, and then we want to maintain it for you. We have maintenance plans for residential and commercial. Give us a call for details. Go to roof-rx.com or call 405-877-7663. Carly will get you set up for an inspection.
Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army and was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy was the pilot of a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy. November 11, 1943, Homer and his crew, along with 31 other bombers, flew a mission to destroy a ball bearing plant in occupied France. On the return trip, a mechanical failure caused the plane to drop out of formation, leaving the Yankee Doodle Dandy vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109 shot the plane down near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board. The others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 21 years of service with numerous awards and citations, not to mention the Purple Heart. Homer Stacy. Homer Stacy McCollum. Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to improve or repair your property, call 855-766-3405. Ask for a no-cost roof assessment and home inspection. That's McRoof, 855-766-3405. That's McRoof.
And we're back with McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC, AM 1520, FM 95.3. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio, taking your calls to 405-478-1520. With me is restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum, HAAG-certified roof inspector Scotty McCollum, and I want you to know that on this date in 1825, this is a red letter day, good or bad, depending on your heritage. But on this date in 1825, U.S. Congress approved the Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma, clearing the way for the forced relocation of the eastern Indian tribes that became known as the Trail of Tears. And this one is for my wife. In 1870, this was the date that the first women's sorority in America was founded, Kappa Alpha Theta at DePaul, Illinois, DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana. And then on this date in 1880, Thomas Edison patented the electric incandescent light bulb.
There you go.
Interesting. How about
now,
that?
When you started on that deal about the sorority and Gwen, and we're talking about 1870, wow, I was thinking, man, you're going to get in trouble.
Oh, your mic's not on. There
I'm sorry. Okay.
Still not on.
The
Well,
button,
it's
push,
on,
push
but
it doesn't work.
Push it the other direction.
No, it's on. The button just doesn't work.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
the light
Boy,
doesn't
I'm
work,
telling
so.
you.
Anyway.
I'm telling you. All right.
Oh,
so
man, we're having all kinds of fun, aren't we?
We had so much fun in that.
Wait a minute. What, is this all my fault?
Of sure, why
course.
not?
Who knows?
Who,
Okay.
who else's fault could it be, Eric?
I'm going home then. Bye.
So we have a caller on the line, but and let's go ahead and go to Deanna or Deanne. Deanne?
Yeah, thank you.
Deanne from Norman.
Now, well, Del City, but that's
Del
close
City.
enough.
Okay, sorry about that.
So anyway, I tried your number a few months ago, and I wasn't able to make connection with anybody, so I got Larry, somebody from another company, to look at my roof because my insurance company said we had some repairs to make. And I'm not trusting either the adjuster or necessarily this guy. Although he comes with a really good reputation, I just but everybody has their own experience, I guess.
Right.
If I did have him look at that, I haven't paid any money or anything.
Right.
The claim is filed, yeah.
Right.
So could I have you guys still come out and maybe take it over if, you know, if something...
Deanne, let me ask you this.
Got to be done by March.
Yeah, I understand. Did you sign a contract of any type with him?
No.
Okay. Well, if you have not signed a contract, then obviously we don't have any, interference issues or anything like that with us coming out and taking a look. And if you're not comfortable with kind of where things stand or what you're being told, then absolutely have somebody that you trust out to look at it. And it could be that they're telling you exactly what is right and just, and that the insurance company's position and what the guy's telling you, that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. But if Scotty or Dustin or I or somebody comes out and gets on your roof and takes a look at it and we tell you a different story, we'll be able to both justify that to you in terms of photographs and documentation, and then we'll be able to walk through the process of what we call supplementation and reinspection with the insurance company.
What's your phone number?
Okay, well, that's a good question. Let me get to my trusty little piece of paper here. You know, we have so many phone numbers, so call us at 405-877-7663. That's actually going to be the Roof RX phone number that is going to be where inspections and maintenance actually begin, and then from there we go into the claim in McRoof. So just call us at that number. Carly will answer on Monday morning, and we can get you set up and get somebody out there pretty quick for you. I know that we're going to be up against this for the next 2 or 3 months, where people are going to be bumping up against a calendar, a date on a calendar. Now, having said that, generally speaking, if there is movement within that claims process, or there is documentation about why you cannot get the work completed by that date in order to recover your depreciation, generally speaking, most insurance carriers with proper documentation will give you an extension of time. If we had a signed contract, we were waiting on materials and scheduling and things like that, and we were going to miss that date, it's typically something that we can get taken care of to where you don't forfeit or lose out on your recoverable depreciation.
He said that it should be around $4,000, and he said, well, your deductible is $4,078 or something like that. I thought that was kind of a...
No, you said that the adjuster said it should be around $4,000?
Sure did.
Did he actually write a claim summary?
Okay. I'll get it to you.
Okay, so you've got to. Well, I'll go ahead and give you that information right now. You can send that to Scott at McRoof, MCROOF.us. Scott at McRoof.us. That way you won't even have to call Carly on Monday. It'll already be on my computer. Out to you.
Oh, decent. Hey, why would he ask it? He said, what is your mortgage? What does that have to do with anything?
Well, if you, and believe me, I get people with raised eyebrows. I get people with tears in their eyes. I get people mad as a wet hen. If you have a mortgage on your property that is listed on your insurance policy, then they're going to have to be on that check that gets written. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, I won't worry about that. See, we haven't had a mortgage for about 21 years.
Okay, but here's a problem, and Deanne, you brought up something that Scotty, we need to make a note of this, something we need to talk about and remind people of. Deanne, I know people that haven't had a mortgage for 20 years, that their policy still has their mortgage company on it. And if that policy has the mortgage company on it, they have to write the check with that mortgage company on it. You want to talk about something that's a lot of fun to do? Get a mortgage company to endorse a check that they haven't had an interest in a property in 20 years. It is a nightmare. You need to you need to check your insurance policy and make sure that there is no mortgage company listed on your insurance policy. If there is, you need to immediately request and show proof that that's been taken care of and have them deleted. Otherwise, your check will have their name on it. They have no choice about that.
I don't know where they would get that because, like I say, it's been paid off and the courthouse has all the documentation and everything, but why but that he was just trying to see if I did have a mortgage and if that might be a
Well, and he
complicator,
may have just been asking a general question, but he also might have been looking at information that was in that file that indicated that you do have. So you do need to look, and this is kind of back to that whole idea of people getting their renewal insurance policies in the mail, opening the envelope, looking at it, and throwing it in a desk drawer. You just cannot do that. You've got to look at I've had people who have had a mortgage company, paid off their mortgage, had it deleted from their policy, and when they got their renewal policy, the mortgage company was back on the policy.
Oh, God.
Okay? You have got to look at the documents that come to you with your renewal insurance policy and ask questions about things like that. I also have, happens many, many times, unfortunately, we've had people like Mr. Gilbert who at one time had replacement cost policies and code coverage, and they got a renewal policy somewhere along the way where those things had been deleted, and they never made the phone call. They never noticed it. They never really, called the insurance company to task or their agent to task on it, and now they're in a situation where they have a loss and they don't have the coverage that they really should have. It's very, very important that you review your renewal policies. Okay. So I'll be looking for your email. I am glad to hear from you again. We've missed you. And
well, I missed you too. Is Gustavus still there?
No, he's not. He moved on. I guess it's been a couple of years ago now. But we've got we got a couple other folks that I guarantee you'll love them. So let's get that inspection done for you and see what's going on with your claim. Okay, Deanne?
Okay. Thanks, Scotty.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks, Deanne. And we have a couple of callers on the line. Our next one is Jerry. Is Jerry on the line?
Oh, yeah, I'm on the line.
Hi there, Jerry.
Hey, guys.
How can we help you today?
I would say that you are handling the new show and the first show quite well. You may think there's bumps in the road, but I'd say it's going quite well.
You mean we're not in the ditch yet?
No.
Feels like it.
Running the right commercials at the right time, like RX and so forth. I'd say you're flowing it quite well. I would hope most broadcasts come out at least that good, and they don't. So,
Jerry, let me just say
doing
this.
fine.
Jerry, let me just say this as the producer of the program. You are a fine person. We appreciate it. Well, I hope to God you didn't hear the first, 90 seconds of the show. Thank you very much.
Oh, actually, I heard all of it.
All right, Jerry, do you have another comment or a question?
I would say, well, comment-wise, I think you're handling it good, and I will always say that I love my metal roof. That's most true. And so keep that in mind. And
I think we might know the Jerry we're talking to now.
Yeah,
Jerry.
That metal roof is probably among the best money that you ever spent, Jerry.
Okay.
I guarantee that.
All right.
Glad you're enjoying.
Hey, Jerry,
and it's good hearing from you.
Thanks for calling. We got to keep moving on. We have another caller on the line. Karen, are you there? Hello, Karen.
Hello.
Hello, Karen. You're on the air.
Okay, well, I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, now we can.
Now we can.
How can we help
Okay,
you?
good. I have a quick question about the code
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
rider that you put on. Okay, so does it matter how old your roof is when you add that?
Not unless I would start by saying typically when your claim date is after your renewal, which includes provisions for building code coverage and ordinance of law, then you know you are covered. I've been in a situation pretty recently where with a big name carrier, they sent out a renewal on this couple who had a couple properties we worked on. One of them, included building code coverage at the time the April 19th, 2023 storm passed through, and the other one did not. They did not check that, but they assumed that because they had the building code coverage on the one
property,
Karen, they assumed they had that on the second, but that was not the case because their renewal had only been within the last month before the hailstorm, or I should say it was actually within a week or so after the hailstorm. So they did not have coverage at the time that the hailstorm passed through.
But to answer your
which
question,
put them in a tricky spot.
To answer your question specifically, Karen, the age of your roof really comes into play where the insurance companies are what we call aging out your roof, and that's where they take away replacement cost coverage and change your roof to an actual cash value policy or a depreciated policy. The insurance companies probably, each individual company makes their own rules about what properties are eligible for ordinance or law or code coverage, okay? So they're not all the same. It's not uniform. It's not something that's regulated or by legislation. So you would have to ask your insurance company if your property is eligible for ordinance or law or code coverage. And I have people do that all the time. We've had situations where had a guy, I remember, down in Tuttle who did not have code coverage. We had him add the coverage because he was eligible to add it. It was probably a year and a half or so later that he got hit by a big hailstorm. And basically, because he had added the code coverage, the insurance company paid an additional $18,000 on his claim that he would have been out of pocket on without the coverage. So I would just tell you, I don't think it really matters how old your roof is. You're going to have to ask your insurer if your property is eligible for you to add that coverage.
And then my next question is, once I have it, as long as I watch and make sure it renews, they can't say, no, it's out of date, you can't have it anymore.
Correct. Yeah. They'll once you have it, then you keep up with your renewals and make sure that you're paying attention to what coverages are and aren't on there. And if you see that it's disappearing, because that's a separate item down there that's listed on your declarations page. If you see that 10% or whatever that amount is has disappeared, there's no premium being charged for it, you know you got an issue and you need to get in touch with somebody.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Your question.
Thank you, Karen. Hey, let's go ahead and take our break now. When we come back, we're going to do the word of the week, and we'll finally get to Scotty's view from the rooftop. You're listening to McRoof Talks Insurance, our inaugural broadcast today on KOKC, AM 1520, FM 95.3. We're also on the iHeartRadio app, and we're live streaming on the YouTube channel that we have for McRoof Talks Insurance. We'll be right back.
If you're tired of that hot attic, well, I guess we're not tired of the hot attic right now, right? But we're thinking about what that attic's going to be like in a few months. If you're tired of that hot attic and the resulting high energy bills, if you want to increase the energy efficiency of your home, consider our Energy Q reflective insulation product. Energy Q comes to us from the NASA and the space program. Our radiant barrier film is a double foil film. It's a blanket with a thermal break built into the blanket. 97% reflective. We keep the heat out of your attic. For a complimentary estimate, contact RoofRx at 405-877-7663, and one of our solution specialists will inspect your attic and prepare your estimate at your convenience. Energy Q and RoofRx, a cool solution for home or business.
Honoring America's Warriors is an Oklahoma-based 501c3 nonprofit that is committed to honoring our heroes and healing our warriors. Honoring America's Warriors provides teams of disabled combat veterans in service dress uniform to augment military honors for our brave that have served our country. Honoring America's Warriors also provides outdoor activities to get our returning veterans peer-to-peer with other veterans in a non-medical environment. To learn more or to donate, go to honoringamericaswarriors.org today.
And McRoof Talks Insurance is back. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum, HAAG-certified roof inspector Scotty McCollum. We're live streaming on our McRoof Talks Insurance YouTube channel. We're also on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, on this date in 1984, Michael Jackson, remember him, was burned during the filming of the Pepsi commercial that he was making ahead of the Super Bowl. On this date in 1948, us gearheads will appreciate this. The first tape recorder was sold. It was my research showed that it was the Ampex Corporation, and it was Bing Crosby who bought the first machines. He was a big prime mover behind magnetic tape recording technology because he wanted to pre-record his radio shows.
Interesting.
So he bought the first two machines that Ampex made. And then...
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street at Heartbreak Hotel.
On this date in 1956, the king of rock and roll recorded, actually RCA Records released Heartbreak Hotel. And the Oklahoma Connection, you know what the Oklahoma Connection is? Written by Hoyt Axton's mother,
there you go.
May Boren Axton. How about that? All right, so in the parts of the show we haven't been able to get to because we've had too much fun today, let's do the word of the week first and get that out of the way. And Scott, what is the word of the week?
Well, what did we decide that was? I think it was RCV.
RCV.
I think
so
it's
I guess
actually an acronym.
Yeah,
so.
This week it's letters of the week.
There you go, letters of the week, and we talked about that. This is something that is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts who have that insurance claim. And one of the first questions we ask them is, do you know if you have an RCV or an ACV policy? And they look at us like, what in the heck are you talking about? So it's really, really, really important. We alluded to it earlier, RCV, replacement cost value, and you want that to be on a non-depreciated basis. You want to have replacement cost value on your property. Obviously, you want to have it extend to your roof if you're eligible to do so. And that typically has to do with the age of the roof.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So just the takeaway is you want RCV in your homeowners
let me give you a real
policy.
simple example. If we have an RCV policy and just say that it's $25,000 RCV, the replacement cost value, and you have a $5,000 deductible, okay, then you're going to start out $25,000 minus $5,000. You're going to start out at $20,000.
Okay.
Okay. Now you take that same $25,000 claim, but you are depreciated. Say your roof is 10 years old, and say they said it was a roof that would have been a 30-year. It's depreciated by a third. Okay?
Oh.
Now you have the one-third depreciation and your $5,000 deducted from the $25,000 as your starting place.
Yeah.
Makes a huge
difference.
Huge difference.
Okay, and then we have a new segment we're bringing to the show.
I'm excited about
because we have the new kid in the studio. Scotty McCollum is doing a new feature called View from the Rooftop.
And this is going to be anecdotal. This is going to be from Scotty's every week in, week out experiences in the field. So I want to hear about this.
And you've titled this one Unexpected Encounters.
Well, I have unexpected encounters, Rick, all the time.
I'm sure
on
you
a
do.
Rooftop. Most of them are pleasant. It's seeing a pretty bird pass me by, or the Oklahoma sunset or sunrise.
Right.
But this one maybe not so much, and I will never forget this. This was back in 2017 when I was doing a quality check walk around down in Norman. There was a roof we had just finished, a week previous, I was actually doing some minor repairs because I think one of our trailers created some ruts in a guy's yard, and at the same time I had to tune up some siding, some vinyl siding. So after I had completed that, I went to the door, got the homeowner, we walked around, he looked at everything, and it looked great to him. But he older gentleman, had just bought his first riding mower, and it was a beauty. It was a John Deere mower.
Oh my!
He kept it in his garage, detached garage at the back of the property.
Right.
I think he had a few acres, and it backed up to this really nice creek bed and the community pond. So we start walking back together towards the detached garage. And we get to the door, it's closed when we arrive, so he goes to the left side of the building to key in the code so he can raise the door to show me this mower, which I was excited to see at the time, but maybe not as excited as him to show me. I would say just in our periphery, we heard this strange noise, and this strange noise continued for a few seconds. It was almost like a little rustle.
Okay.
A rustle must have been just on the other side of this wall that I was standing on.
Okay.
He raises the door. The door starts to raise, and out of my periphery, I see this 5 to 6 foot long copperhead slither into his garage, out of the corner of the grass that comes right up to his shop building.
Right.
And I screamed.
Yeah.
I let out a squeal like a little girl.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I ran while I screamed.
Yeah.
That's
and
funny.
it took hours for the wildlife control lady to go through his shop to finally find the snake, but she got it contained and shipped away.
Oh,
wow.
my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
No, that's funny.
That's pretty
I wish I was on the rooftop for that one.
Yeah, no kidding.
I bet you did.
No kidding.
I bet you did.
Okay, storm. So let's do our after the storm tip. This is Scott. You have an after the storm tip?
You know, we've
Or
talked
is this
about
before the storm?
Well, it kind of depends, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're after last year's storm, I might have a little different advice for you. But let's look forward, okay?
Okay.
This is an absolutely perfect time to be doing a roof inspection.
Really?
I don't care if it's a steep residential roof. I don't care if it is a low slope commercial roof. I don't care if it's a metal roof. I don't care what it is. This is an absolutely great time to be doing an inspection. Here's the reason why. We've had the little bit of weather that we've had. We've got all of last year's weather. If you haven't had anybody on your roof or anybody that's looked at your roof, we had a little bit of ice and snow. We've had a lot of rain, unusually a lot of rain. But what's coming in a couple of months? You know, where are we
Storm
headed?
season.
We're getting, you know, this is the end of January already.
Right.
I mean, quite honestly, we could have a hailstorm in February.
We could.
It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So it's time to take a look and establish that baseline for your roof. Let's figure out exactly where it is. Let's identify anything that might need to be done to your roof to get you successfully through the rest of the winter. You know, they're saying February might be a pretty rough month. We might have some precipitation, some snow and ice and things like that. So you want that on your roof. You want your roof to be sound, okay? And let's look at it in terms of all the things that might come into play when those winds start blowing 60, 70, 80 or more miles an hour.
Right.
Okay, let's get ready for this springtime. Let's get all the organic material and everything off of the roof, get it cleaned up. Let's punch out, seal up, take care of everything that we can possibly take care of. If you need to file a claim, if we do the inspection now, you still have that 3.5 months on that 4/19 hail date from last year to be able to get in line and get that claim filed.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So there are a whole lot of reasons to call now for a roof inspection. Once you decide that you're going to do that, I'll just caution you again that there are qualified roof inspectors and extremely reputable roofing companies in the metro, okay? be sure that you call one of them. Okay?
Okay.
They are not in the majority. Okay? The roofing industry, by and large, is a numbers game for inexperienced salespeople and inspectors to tell people that they need to file an insurance claim. I used to say, I don't know if it's been true the last year or two, I used to tell people, we tell at least as many people that they do not need to file a claim as we would tell need to file a claim. I don't know if that's still the case the last year or so, because we've had a lot of hail spread pretty generally throughout the metro. So maybe that's not, but we tell a lot of people that you don't need to file a claim. Just like Scotty tells a lot of people, you need very minor repairs on this roof. Okay? He tells more people they need very minor repairs than he tells they need very major repairs.
Right.
Okay? And if you take care and do so you start with that qualified inspection. You line everything out. You understand what your priorities are and what you're up against. You work it into your budget, figure out what you can and can't do, all that. Do you have an insurance claim or not have an insurance claim? You walk through that, we take care of whatever it is, and then we talk to you about ongoing maintenance on your roof. Okay? This is something that, I've talked to you about for 10 or 15 years. The organic debris that builds up on your roofs, keeping the drains clean, all those. It doesn't matter what kind of roof you have. It requires maintenance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Some more than others, some less.
And it doesn't maintain itself. Right. We had a lady that called us last year that was having leaks, and we went out. I'll just say it. It's a roof that McRoof did.
Okay.
We went out to investigate because it's very puzzling to me because I know how every roof we built is built. I've examined photographs. I have valid information of what we did or didn't do. So I sent Tad out. Tad went out there, and Tad calls me. He says, I'm going to send you a couple of pictures, and then we'll talk when I get back. Tad went out there, and this roof had not just a little bit of organic material on the roof. It had leaves piled up in the valleys a couple feet deep.
Oh, my.
Okay? It had the gutters completely closed with organic material to where when the water came down those valleys where it should run into the gutters and out of a downspout, it was basically backing up underneath our shingles.
Ooh.
And even to the point beyond our ice and water protection.
Oh, my goodness. Which goes up a couple of feet.
So what I'm saying is, just because we do the roof correctly doesn't mean that it's going to perform for you the way we intend it to without some maintenance, cleaning, taking care of the little things. And the quality of the roofs that we put on now, and I'll just say this, the quality of the roofs that we put on now in the Class 4 impact resistant, the new flex technologies, all of our membrane roofs in the commercial world, if people would maintain those roofs because they're properly ventilated and properly drained and all that, they would get the kind of performance out of that product that really mitigates any additional costs they would have in quote-unquote replacement done right.
Right. So. Well, I will admit that I haven't taken the initiative to go up and clean off my roof since late summer of last year.
I was wondering if you were still getting up on that roof.
Well, once I turned 70, my desire to shimmy up that ladder and get up there,
I understand.
It has gone down.
I understand.
And I'm reminded. My dad said much the same thing when he turned 70. He said, I'm not getting up there anymore. And last time I went up there, I thought, I remembered my dad.
Yeah.
It's just not quite as much fun.
Well, and it's not something, of course, we have a huge universe of McRoof customers, both replacement roofs and repairs over the years.
Sure.
We've done a lot of radio over the years, and a lot of those customers came from that. So our demographic tends to be a little older.
Right.
Those people, I don't want my customers out there getting on
Exactly,
a
yeah.
steep roof. I don't want my customers out there with a 20-foot ladder getting up on a commercial roof.
Sure.
We want to get out there and get on that roof, make sure that everything's the way it's supposed to be, and take care of it for you. But that requires an ongoing maintenance program. And quite honestly, all warranties require that.
Right.
The manufacturers have an out in their warranty documents about the simple things that homeowners and business owners are required to do to maintain those warranties.
Right.
And 99.9 out of 100 people do not do the maintenance that is required to maintain their warranties.
Well, live and learn, live and learn.
Yeah.
So what's coming up in this next week for you? It's going to be a beautiful week. Are you?
We've got
Are you going to be hiding nails on rooftops this week?
We have got a busy week this week. We're kicking off a commercial project on Monday morning. I'll be there at before 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that project will be going on, and then that'll take us. That particular project will take us most of the week. We've got a couple. I think we have 5 or 6 residential steep roof projects scheduled for next week.
Nice.
So yeah, we've got a lot going on. Scotty's been selling some metal roofs that we've got to get caught up on.
Okay.
One up in Stillwater and some other stuff. So we've got to get those taken care of. So yeah, because of and we don't have a lot of time. We'll get into it next week. But there was a significant problem in the asphalt shingle manufacturing world last year that created delays in distribution and product availability that impacted everyone, okay? And particularly those people who needed a quote-unquote weathered wood look shingle.
Right.
Okay? Almost impossible to get in a Class 4 Flex technology for most of last year.
Wow.
So because of that, we end up with a significant backlog going into the new year, the biggest backlog that McRoof has ever had.
Wow.
So,
What about the prices on stuff like OSB and plywood?
OSB's not horrible right now. I mean, when you think about the days when it was $6 or $7 at Home Depot and Lowe's, now it's $16, $17, $18. So it's 3 times. Okay, it's triple.
But
it isn't after COVID.
But relative to $65 post COVID,
exactly.
Now I can tell you it's a quarter of what it used to be. So do I want to say it's 3 times what it used to be, or a quarter a quarter of what it used to be? So anyway, so that's not too bad. But shingle prices are up. What we used to call the 30-year laminate, say you saw on most roofs, other than luxury shingles. Those shingles were $65, $70 a square. Now they're $105, $107 a square, and they will never go back down.
Okay.
So anyway,
Eric, anything you want to say?
Well, hopefully I'll be better next week.
Well, you were supposed to say,
hopefully we all
After
will.
the Storm is brought to you by Roof RX.
Hey, After the Storm is brought to you by Roof RX.
All right, we have time for Dad's Wisdom here, Scott. Dad's Wisdom brought to you by Energy Q.
all right. So this is my favorite all time. I don't know if it's Scotty's, but 1 boy is a boy, 2 boys is half a boy, and 3 boys is no boy at all.
This has been the inaugural edition of McRoof Talks Insurance on KOKC AM 1520 FM 95.3. We will be back next week.
Thanks for all the phone calls.
KOKC, Oklahoma City.
The Tyler Media Station, entertaining you since 1965.
95.3 FM and 15.